Welcome back to Inside City Hall. Earlier this week, Governor Hochul revealed her plans for the future of Penn Station and the surrounding area, scaling down a proposal that was first put forth by her predecessor, Andrew Cuomo. Governor Hochul wants to turn the station into a single-level train hall with a massive concourse and high ceilings. She also plans to keep the skyscrapers that were part of the original plan, but with decreased heights. The reconstruction is expected to cost upwards of $7 billion over a 5-year period. And here with me now to talk about this is a special panel. Brian Frisch is a manager of advocacy campaigns at the Regional Plan Association. We also have Law-Gisiko. She's the chair of Manhattan Community Board 5's Land Use, Housing and Zoning Committee. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for joining me. And Mr. Frisch, let me start with you. The station is, in the words of your colleague, Tom Wright, a daily humiliation for those who use it. The idea of making it more aesthetically pleasing is nice, but talk a little bit about where Penn Station fits into the regional economy.
I mean, it's absolutely essential. It's the biggest transportation hub in our region. If we want to protect the environment and build the regional economy, there's no better place than Penn Station to start working on making it a safe and dignified space for us to have everyone go through. So I think the governor's announcement is great. It really responds to some of the commentary that the Community Advisory Committee, which Layla was a part of, has talked about, and will engage all the transportation, the transport agencies that have been a part of this to be excited and engaged on making this a much better place for us to be a part of.
Ms. Law-Gisiko, what were the community's concerns? I imagine the original proposal to demolish almost an entire block immediately south of Penn Station was a concern. What are the remaining concerns under this new proposal?
Well, just to be clear, this concern of demolishing a whole block remains. The plan that Governor Hochul presented still envisions demolishing this block to the south, as well as half blocks on each side of 7th Avenue and 9th Avenue adjacent to this full block that is slated for demolition. So that hasn't changed. The proposal that the community board has been engaged on is actually a land use proposal. We have not been involved with the MTA and not consulted on the plan to reconstruct Penn Station. I just want to make that very clear. So there are currently 3 different proposals that are moving simultaneously. One on which we have been consulted, the land use portion, which we feel very concerned about. You know, it's those 10 towers, very, very high density. There is the reconstruction of Penn Station, of which, you know, we have seen proposals. The leadership of MTA has presented their plans, but we have not been engaged and involved in the, conception of these plans. And we have grave concerns about these plans as well. And then there is the expansion of Penn Station to the south, which our understanding is that will be spearheaded by Amtrak. So our concern really is that, that there is a land use action that is being pushed through that is really totally disconnected from what's happening below grade. And we consider that this land use action that the governor announced on Wednesday is a distraction. So this should be set aside. Eventually, maybe there is a rationale to upzone this area. It's very reasonable to make this argument, but now is not the time. We need to fix Penn Station, and I agree with Brian on that, and I agree with absolutely everyone. No one will be an advocate to the status quo. But
my understanding of this proposal is that the point of the towers is not just because people feel like building, but because that would create the revenue that would pay for, in large part, the reconstruction of Penn Station. That it's a combination of selling air rights and maybe creating some special taxation zones, tax abatements, leases on some of the commercial space and so forth.
Yes. So and that's also the core of the reason why we disagree with this plan and what we feel this plan is a liability. The funding structure of this plan is similar to Hudson Yards. We know what Hudson Yards did, right? It ended up costing the city of New York. The city of New York agreed to actually guarantee the payments, $2 billion. And we're going to do exactly the same. If these buildings get built, it will be in 2038. All right. So if the tax revenue starts to trickle in, it will be in 2038. We need the money now. So right now, this plan proposes to put the whole Penn Station reconstruction on the credit card. And then we're going to have to start paying interest. So issuing bonds, having to repay the principal and the interest on these bonds when the revenues are not even starting to come in is really not a good idea.
Okay. So, Mr. Frisch, the comparison to Hudson Yards, I mean, my understanding is even at the reduced plan that Governor Hochul's talking about is over 18 million square feet of space, which is actually slightly larger than Hudson Yards. You know, Hudson Yards was until recently, frankly, a ghost town due to the pandemic. Are we ready for another 18 million square feet of space, especially with so much empty office space in Midtown right now?
I mean, I think there are two things that I would say. One is that a pilot project pays some of the revenue up front. So it's not really that we're waiting till 2038 to receive some of the tax revenue that Leila just mentioned. And the other thing I would say is, like, this is the busiest transit center in the entire Western Hemisphere. We need transit-oriented development to meet our environmental and economic goals in New York State and across the region. So I'm not sure that I feel that it's quite appropriate to just say it's another Hudson Yards. I think that many of our people that have been working on this for a long time realize that there are a lot of people that want to build around here and to from tech organizations like Facebook and others that are going to build around there.
The busiest train station in the Western Hemisphere obviously is going to be a place where there's going to be some density. But Ms. Law-Gisiko, the governor's proposal calls for I think it's about 8 acres of public space. I'm not sure where it would be designated or what it would look like. What are the community's concerns or needs around that? Some public space in the midst of all of this development.
So listen, improving the public realm is absolutely critical, and 8 acres sounds like a very nice number. Looking at the plans as we were able to do finally yesterday evening, I still struggle to really see where that is going to happen and how that is really going to happen. There's just so many conflicts. Just to take one example, 33rd Street is slated to become an open street where pedestrians can walk, but it is also designated to be the holding area for the trucks that are going to serve Madison Square Garden. So what is it? Is it for pedestrians or is it for trucks? It can't be for both. And this is what we see with this proposal, is like there's lots of, vague notions and, information that is shared, such as, well, we're not going to do the demolition, or maybe we'll do it later. We're going to do a lot of open space, but actually we're also going to give, half a street to half a block to the trucks for parking. So we're still trying to reconcile really what the plan entails, how it is going to play out, and we really feel that that this density right now is not the priority. I agree with Brian, and I agree with all the transit advocates. We need to fix Penn Station. We need to make sure it is funded. I have my eyes riveted on Washington, D.C. right now. Let's vote on this infrastructure bill. Let's get the funding going.
Okay.
Let's get grants available so that we can do what needs to happen for New York City.
Right. In fact, without the money from Washington, this is all in some ways an academic exercise. Well, we'll continue to follow this as the governor and the Congress and everybody involved tries to make sense of this. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We are going to take a short break now. When we come back, we'll turn our attention back to San Juan, where New York politicians are gathered at the annual Somos Conference. You're going to hear from City Council member Carlina Rivera in a minute. Stay with us.